ITS has been able to manage autonomously the policy of academics, organizations, finance, students' affairs, human resources, facilities, operational, and infrastructure.
In the spirit of Indonesian heroes, during the battle in the 10th of November 1945, ITS always makes efforts to be the best in education, research, and community services, especially in the fields of industry and maritime. ITS also actively contributes to the nation development, and in the future, ITS will become an entrepreneurial university with world-class reputation.
ITS has many achievements. Both national and international achievements prove that ITS keeps growing and gives the best contribution to the nation of Indonesia. ITS is a place for new hopes to grow. An ideal environment for the new generation to flourish in 3 strategic locations within the industrial city of Surabaya. As a smart eco-campus, ITS maintains harmony between technological advances and the sustainability of the surrounding ecosystem. ITS has 7 faculties with prospective scientific fields, including Scientics, INSIS, Vocation, Creatis, Martech, Electrics, Plan. ITS is a space for the new generation who are hungry for knowledge because it provides a wide range of references in both physical and digital form. ITS makes it easier for the new generation to access information by providing flexible classes. ITS keeps moving forward in facing future challenges by providing the best facilities for the new generation's activities. The facilities support both spiritual and physical needs. ITS also provides research facilities in the ITS Science Technopark, including ICT and robotics, automotive, maritime, and creative industries. Therefore, the excellent generations from ITS will emerge and make history. ITS is a space for the new generation to express themselves. ITS is a place where the new generation learns new things and finds their purpose. ITS has become a place where the new generations that carry the future will be born.
ITS is a campus of science and technology, which focuses on the research and innovation, presenting technology for prosperity.
With a spirit of heroism, ITS brings the future before us. ITS The University of Heroes.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, before we start commence the program, and here are the following webinar protocol. For each participant ID, please use your real name following with your origin of institution. All of participants are expected to mute the audio and only unmute the video during the event. We cordially invite you to take your own firm and comfort seat in your own room, and please avoid the backlight. Make sure that you have a good and stable internet connection. If you have an earphone or headset, we recommend you to use it so that your voice can clearly and loudly to be heard. During the Q&A discussion session, all participants, please use the chat box to deliver the questions. Thank you for your cooperation and consideration.
The world keeps evolving. The times keep changing. The new generation of technology. The new generation of information. They bring the future before us. Institut Teknologi 10 November, a place where the spirit of heroism underlies the new generation to research and innovate in technology. The University of Heroes, ITS.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to guest lecture series on SDGs today, Wednesday, 7 June 2021. I am Aulia from ITS Global Engagement and will be your Master of Ceremony this afternoon. First of all, thank you for joining our guest lecture series on SDGs today. Before we start our agenda, let me remind you of link you need to fill during the event. First, please fill your attendance at bit.ly/attendance_GLS SDGs, and our committee also send the attendance link in the Zoom chat room. For participants who wish to get a certificate and stamp for it, please fill the attendance 15 minutes after the session started. Second, participants who wish to ask questions during the Q&A session, please send your question to intip.in/Q&A/GLS and the link for questions also listed in the Zoom chat room as well. Or you can ask directly by clicking the raise hand feature. For today's theme is Biophilic Cities, Challenges and Opportunities Amidst COVID-19 and the Sustainable Landscape Design by Integrating Agriculture and Tourism in Central Java, Indonesia, which will be delivered by Associate Professor Syuhaida Ismail and Dr. Bambang Soemardiono, and will be moderated by Ms. Novida from Institut Teknologi 10 November. Before we start our agenda, allow me to deliver our schedule today as follows. The first is opening, the second is introduction to moderator and speakers, and the third is lecture session by Associate Professor Syuhaida Ismail and Dr. Bambang Soemardiono. The fourth is Q&A session, the fifth is certificate awarding, and the last is closing. Okay, before we proceed to the next agenda, let me introduce our moderator. So, our moderator today is Miss Nur Endah Nufida from Institut Teknologi 10 November. She got her master degree at Magister of Engineering and Architectural Design and Criticism at ITS. She has some research interest in architectural theory, art, media, and aesthetic, and also well-being and historic environment. Okay, without further ado, let's proceed to the main agenda. To Miss Nufida, the time is yours.
Thank you, Ibu Aulia. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Nur Enda Nufida, the moderator of today's guest lecture series on Sustainable Development Goals. Today's topic will be first, biophilic cities, challenges and opportunities amid COVID-19, and second, the sustainable landscape design by integrating agriculture and tourism in Central Java, Indonesia. Before the presentation begins, let me inform how the presentation will proceed. Each speaker will be invited to present the lecture for approximately 40 minutes, followed by a session of question and answer for 30 minutes. The first topic will be presented by our first speaker, Associate Professor Syuhaida Ismail, and the later topic will be a lecture by our second speaker, Dr. Engineer Bambang Soemardiono. Along the presentation, all participants could fill the Google form inside the chat box to write questions dedicated to the speakers. The written question will be read by moderator in question and answer session. The session will be proceed for 30 minutes, and if there is an extra time, participants would be allowed to ask directly to the speakers by clicking the raise hand feature. So, I will read the curriculum vitae of our first speaker. Our first speaker, Associate Professor Syuhaida Ismail, is a lecturer from University Technology Malaysia. She has received her bachelor degree in Civil and Construction Engineering at University Technology Malaysia Johor and her master degree at the University of Melbourne, Australia in Project Management. In 2009, she completed her PhD degree in Civil Engineering at her first alma mater, University Technology Malaysia Johor. Her research interests primarily discuss two subjects, namely project management and construction management. During 2019, she received two most prestigious awards, the Young Engineer Awards by the Institution of Engineering and Technology Malaysia Network during IET Prestige Lecture Annual Dinner and Award Night, as well as the Most Active Research Group Awards during the appreciation ceremony by Razak Faculty of Technology and Informatics. And we move on to our second speaker, Dr. Engineer Bambang Soemardiono, is one of my colleagues in Department of Architecture, ITS. He received his bachelor degree in architecture at ITS. He took his master and doctoral degree in architecture at Technische Hogeschool Darmstadt. As a lecturer and head of Laboratory of City Design at Department of Architecture ITS, he also took a very active roles in professional organizations such as Indonesian Institute of Architects as head of education, professionalism, and certification at Indonesian Institute of Architects, East Java. Dr. Soemardiono is a former head of the Department of Architecture and still giving his best service in many fields and beyond. Now, allow me to welcome our speaker, Associate Professor Syuhaida Ismail, to deliver her presentation.
Okay, thank you, Ibu Endah ya. Okay, Assalamualaikum everyone.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, can you guys see my slide?
Yes, sure.
Okay, thank you very much, Ibu Enda, and also the rest of ITS team for inviting me for the second time to ITS online. Okay, I've been to ITS physically somewhere in 2016, and last year because of COVID, I was online, and again today I'm online. Okay, so really hope that I can see you guys physically, probably next year, inshallah. I mean, let's pray that this COVID-19 go out from the from the world. Okay, I would say. Okay, so basically I was given a topic to be touched related to the sustainable development goals. Okay, so I was thinking that, yep, why don't I talk about biophilic city? And since we are still in the COVID-19 pandemic, I'd like to touch these challenges and opportunities of implementing or adopting biophilic city amidst COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, so basically, it is expected that by the end of my 40-minute talk, okay, you will know what is biophilic city and its relationship to SDG, and also what are the challenges and opportunities, and you would be able to apply these concepts into your daily life's activities. Yeah, and I hope also you can promote this knowledge, the knowledge that you have gained throughout this lecture, to your friends, to your colleagues as well, and especially to the society at large. Okay. And finally, I would really hope that at the end of this talk, you would be able to propose what are the measures, okay, that you can adopt, so that you can adopt these biophilic city elements in the context of Indonesia per se, or particularly in Surabaya. Okay, I really hope that my talk would give some advantages to you in terms of what are the things that need to be done in fighting against this COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, so bear in mind, I have a lot of slides. Okay, however, my slides are all very pictorial, means there are a lot of photos, so I'll be taking like maybe 10 seconds for each of the photos. So please open your eyes big, okay, and focus to my lecture. I hope it will be very interesting enough for you guys, especially when I'll be talking about some of the experiences in Southeast Asian countries like Malaysia, China, Hong Kong, Indonesia, India, these Asian countries. Okay. Okay, so coronavirus, COVID-19, it has hit Malaysia tremendously, or I would say adversely, since March 2020. Okay, even though it has emerged since December 2019. Okay, so I'm not sure how about the condition of COVID-19 now in Surabaya or in Indonesia in particular, but this is what we have currently. Okay, it tremendously impact our CBD, for instance, yeah, particularly CBD, the Kuala Lumpur city center, where most of our economic activities are here. Okay, are centralized in this central business district of Kuala Lumpur. As you can see, that is our proudly icon of Petronas Twin Tower. Okay, so what happened was, okay, the thing is, we have recorded quite a safe pattern of COVID-19 transmission. However, during last Ramadan in April, you know, when people being in masjid and surau to perform Tarawih prayers, and people started going to Pasar Ramadan, the Ramadan market, to buy their food for fasting, for breaking fast. As you can see here, starting April, there is an upsurge of COVID-19 cases in Malaysia up until now. Okay, up until here 7th June, yeah, 7th June. Even though today is 2nd June, okay, this is the prediction of Ministry of Health. You know what happened was, today marked the 2nd day of our total lockdown. Malaysia is currently on total lockdown, means we cannot go out, okay, we cannot go anywhere, we cannot go to work. It's for 2 weeks from yesterday. So this is our 2nd day. So this is due to the steep climb of COVID-19 cases in Malaysia. And the most important thing is that we have recorded the highest death at 98. And saw the death toll shooting at 2,650 cases as of 30th May 2021. So this is very alarming. Okay, we have been doing all these COVID swab tests, and even we have been rigorously undertaking the COVID-19 vaccination. Okay, we have 3 types of vaccination. I'm not sure what happened, what types of vaccination that being done in Indonesia, but I'm trying to make a comparison between Malaysia and Indonesia, where as you can see here, you are very good in terms of this vaccination profile. You have started since January 12, where we Malaysia, we just started in February 24. However, in terms of numbers of our population being vaccinated, Malaysia, we recorded 6.21% compared to Indonesia, 6%, okay, at 27 million people of the Indonesians people. So this, even though we have all this vaccination, the COVID-19 is still there, okay? So what happened during this lockdown? All the businesses are closed, the school are closed, even universities are closed, and even the students, okay, for example, University Technology students, University Technology Malaysia students, they are stranded in the college, in their university accommodation. However, University Technology Malaysia, our university, managed to take care of their well-beings, in terms of food, beverages, and also all their basic needs throughout this total lockdown. However, how about people who are working? How about parents like me? How about students like you guys? How about like Pak Bambang, okay, or any other fathers who have been juggling between work at home, work from home, WFM, WFH, and also juggling with the kids, okay, because everyone, since all the industry has been closed, we have to focus working at home. Okay, some says that, okay, there are silver linings, when you work at home, you are actually here bringing families closer together. Yeah, it's true. But when it comes to the reality, when your kids asking for food, we're asking about when are you going to do laundry of my clothes, asking about how boring they are at home, asking about what other activities can be done at home. So the parents, especially the mother, being too overwhelmed. Okay, so this is where most parents in Malaysia, and I believe the same happens in Indonesia, they are facing dilemma over these children's well-being during this COVID-19, especially during this lockdown. Okay, they are, like anxiety, we have fears, depressions. These are all amongst the problems that haven't been that were taken down by, for instance, this is a study by University of Malaya Kuala Lumpur that observes there is an upsurge in anxiety, stress, and also social effects due to isolation from the COVID-19 total lockdown. Okay, so what happened was, okay, especially in Kuala Lumpur, when we actually recorded the highest, most populated city in Malaysia at 7.9 million, okay, this actually in line with the statement by the United Nations that 90% of the population increment would take place in Asia, especially in urban area like Kuala Lumpur and even in Surabaya. I believe that Surabaya is also an urban area. So what is the impact, okay, because of, due to this upsurge in the population? I want to give an example of this case study of Hong Kong. Okay, this is the flat houses in Hong Kong. Okay, as you can see, Hong Kong is known for having the most expensive rental of housing. Okay, it is called anti-housing or anti-residence. It's a set symbol of Hong Kong people, or we call Hong Ki, where in 2020 more than 200 people in Hong Kong live in these small houses called coffin homes. Rumah keranda. I'm not sure in Indonesia whether you call it keranda as well. Okay, coffin homes or cages. As you can see, this house could be, the so-called house could be as small as this. This is 3 times 6. 3 kaki kali 6 kaki. Okay, this is the real what is happening in Hong Kong. Okay, this is the home, the cage. Okay, they call as the cage, and even like this, 3 times 6. Okay, because of the rental is so expensive. So what happened when they have this kind of coffin homes and cages? This is actually become the hotbeds of COVID-19 transmission. Means there is high possibility for the COVID-19 to be transmitted from one to another, especially in the context of China. Okay, China being the most populated country, the most populated state in the world. Let's say what happened to Indonesia. As you can see, this is the latest population, as recorded by the United Nations. Indonesia, you are the fourth most populous country at 270 million per people. Okay, so you also have the tendency of being easily transmitted. You are very vulnerable to this COVID-19 pandemic. Let's see, this is in India. What will happen if this still happening? India now is recording amongst the most transmitted COVID-19 on earth. Okay, and how about this city where it's too compact, too cramped? Okay, so these are the things that need to be addressed by the United Nations under the Sustainable Development Goals. Okay, so basically when I talk about biophilic city, which I will explain to you later what is it about, mostly it will be covering the 11th SDG. Okay, that is to make the cities inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. However, when we marry this SDG, okay, with the COVID-19 and also with the biophilic city, there are concerns of other associated SDG. First is good health and well-being. Of course, if you are able to cater this settle this transmission of COVID-19, whether through injection or jabs of the vaccination, or through the SOP or 1 meter social distancing, yeah, you will be able to promote good health and well-being of your people. And also it cater the zero poverty. When people can work, okay, even though during COVID-19, there will be no poverty, they will have salary, and also leads to zero hunger throughout different stages of community. And eventually, when we manage to cater this COVID-19 pandemic, the school can be opened. So we can provide equally quality education, where at the same time the parents, okay, the adults can start working and ensure economic growth of the country. And also it reduces inequalities. Like for instance, I give you example in Hong Kong, where some of them, they are still living in these coffin houses. So these can be reduced if we tackle these issues on COVID-19 pandemic from the perspective of biophilic cities. So as you can see, when I talk about all these SDGs, it refers back to the importance of family institution. Okay, as you can see here, the family institution has been highlighted by your BKB. And what is this BKB? And Badan Kependudukan and Keluarga Berencana Nasional. Okay, this is one of the way of how Indonesian try to tackle the new norms in COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, so I will touch based on this perspective. Okay, this is where the biophilic city comes in. Okay, what is biophilic? Biophilic comes from the word biophilia. Okay, it's the how people are innately. What does it mean by innately? Innately means naturally. You are naturally being affiliated, being connected. Okay, you as a human being connected with other living organism. Okay, this principle has been mooted by this Edward Osborne Wilson. He is a biologist. He is a tourist, he is also an author, and most importantly he is a myrmecologist. What is myrmecologist? He studies on ant. Semut, yeah, he studies on ant, and he is one of the world's leading experts in ant. Okay, only study about ant. However, from this ant, how the ant lives, he comes with the theory of biophilia. And this biophilia concept has been expanded by this Timothy Batley, okay, from Virginia University, United States. He is an urban and regional planner, okay, where he says that biophilic city is about how you integrate the city so that it is highly connected between the human and also the green surroundings, as refers to the previous American, the author of the biophilia. So what is biophilic city? Biophilic city is about the natureful city. Okay, when we talk about the natureful city, it connects the nature with the humans. Okay, when we talk about nature, it involves insects, it involves fauna, flora, okay, it involves every single components in the nature. So what happened is that biophilic, okay, it promotes opportunity for people to learn to connect with the nature. The promotion is the keywords. Yeah? And what is the most important thing is that biophilic city, it advocates for human coexistence together with the environment. Okay, so this biophilic city, sometimes they call it as a sister term of sustainable, means biophilic city more or less similar to sustainable city. However, there are various, I would say, dissimilarities. Okay, for instance, number one, biophilic city, it applies the principle of affordance, means biophilic city tries to do anything to improve the well-being of the people. Okay, so how to do that? It connects the people with the humans. Okay, however, okay, when we talk about the green, okay, now I'm going to talk about green sustainable city, or maybe you can say resilient city. Okay, other than biophilic city, what is it about? Okay, green and sustainable city, it aspires to reduce the impact of the environment, okay, without having the in theory, without having the affiliation between the nature and also the human. So what they do in green city and sustainable city is they add new elements. For instance, they add green roof, green wall, or LED lights, energy saving lights. Those are the things being implemented in green city and sustainable city, as I showed here, trying to add trees, yeah, in the building. Okay, so these are the elements of adding new things in green city and sustainable city. Okay, in fact, green city focus on zero impact to the environment. However, sustainable city, which the idea is mooted from the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal, is about the triple bottom line, or we call 3 pillars of sustainable development goal. That is, what are the impacts of what being done to improvise the buildings on social, on economy, and also on the environment. Okay, and it also include recently on the disaster prevention, and this is where the resilient cities come in. Okay. Another definition of green city, it's also a case of sustainable city, where both green city and sustainable city, they have this green and blue infrastructure, like rivers and also trees. Yeah? However, there is a lack of affiliation between the human and also the nature in this green and sustainable city. Okay, this is a typical, probably what we call the so-called ideal green or sustainable city. Okay, we in Malaysia, we have promoted this green and sustainable city. As you can see here, under the Ministry of Energy, Science, Technology, Environment and Climate Change, we have this so-called strategic planning to position ourselves as the low carbon city in the world. Okay, for instance, we have the EV car, okay, the electrical vehicles, we have the solar, we have the low carbon buildings, and also the TOD, transit oriented development. However, as you can see, these are all the adding elements as mentioned in the green buildings and also green cities and also sustainable cities theories. Okay, so I give you example, the TOD. Okay, Kuala Lumpur Central, for those who have been to Kuala Lumpur, once you reach from Surabaya to Kuala Lumpur and then you reach KLIA, Kuala Lumpur International Airport, when you want to go to our CBD, Kuala Lumpur City Centre, you will be using probably this KL transit, okay, the train transit from KLIA to the city of Kuala Lumpur. Okay, this is the Kuala Lumpur Central, which is the largest our transit-oriented development that integrates all the railway transportation systems in Kuala Lumpur in general. So as you can see here, in KL Central, okay, KL Central is actually housing the most green buildings in Kuala Lumpur. Okay, be it green building system, green building index. The green building index, the second one is originally from Malaysia, and also the lead from the United Kingdom, and also the Singapore Building and Construction Authority green marks by the Singapore. We have all this in our KL Central area. Okay, and this is also one of the accommodation or the high-end apartments in in KL Central. However, when we talk about alamak, building these green buildings, it's always inclusive of very expensive expenses, yeah, compared to the traditional building. And even the payback would take relatively quite long, okay? And as you can see, especially when you have to adhere to the standards of green and sustainable, it becomes too expensive because you have to adopt all of these new technologies and eco-friendly materials, okay? So, and in this era of COVID-19 pandemic, where we lost jobs and we have some of you, it's not really about losing jobs. Some of us are being, the salary are being reduced, yeah, because to cater other needs of the company, for instance. We cannot afford to use our emergency money just for the sake of making our city green or sustainable, okay? We cannot afford to do that. Okay, this is even highlighted by Jakarta Post, saying that money management in the time of COVID is very fundamental, yeah, because your income mainly may stay the same or worse or even decrease. However, your expenses would be decreased in terms of you need to buy food, supplement, medical item, and let's say you have to do swab tests or even let's say the vaccination. Okay, in Malaysia the vaccination is free. I believe in Indonesia it's also the same. Okay, we give free vaccination for all, including our foreign workers in construction sites. Okay. So in this case, when we talk about how the urgency of having this extra money, biophilic city is seen as the solution to the dilemma. Okay, why is it so? Because biophilic city is a wallet-friendly and cheaper alternative. Okay, especially in this turmoil of COVID-19 crisis. Why is it so? Okay, let's see. Okay, number one. Okay, biophilic city, as I mentioned before, it connects the nature with the people, with the urbanites, with the people living in the city. What makes it different is that it involves also, it doesn't really define the nature by green walls or green rooftops. No, it also involves the urban greening of how you involve yourselves in green activities. Okay, still not understand it? No worries. Let's go to the next. Okay, it's talking about, okay, it's talking about, for instance, how you make yourself close to the nature. Even close to the nature is a part of biophilic city theories. Okay, here I put here the nature makes the cities healthier, make the urbanites happier, okay, where people living in neighborhoods with more birds, shrubs and trees are less likely to suffer from depression, stress, anxiety, fear, loneliness. Okay, this is one of the very important principles in biophilic city called Shinrin Yoku. Okay, what is Shinrin? Shinrin is forest, Yoku is bathing, mandi. Okay, mandi hutan. Okay, so basically mandi hutan or forest bathing is simply walking in the forest. Okay, so what happened is that this Shinrin Yoku, when you start walking in the forest, it is believed and it is proven, yeah, it can reduce, it can relax your brain, it can reduce the cortisol hormones. The cortisol hormones are actually the hormones that increase your stress. Okay, it also this Shinrin-yoku has been used since the 1980s in Japanese for what we call the alternative healing or alternative healthcare. Okay, like in Malaysia sometimes we have BOMO, you know. I'm not sure in how about in Indonesia. Sometimes we have BOMO of to as a part of our alternative healthcare. But here in Japan, they use this Shinrin-yoku. Okay, so let's see what are the design elements of green cities. Okay, as I said, it's more about adding elements. Yeah, it's about renewable energy. It's about the green buildings. It's about the community. It's about how friendly your vehicles to the environment is, and how healthy your soil, how healthy your air, and also water. As simple as that for green cities. Let's see what are the elements of biophilic city. Okay, we provide edible landscape. Edible means the landscape can be eaten. Okay, we have the indoor potting plant, and the most important thing is that you promote green in your neighborhood. For instance, you have cycling. Okay, cycling in the nature. You have markets. Okay, you have community markets, and also probably you have community forests or gardens. Okay, that is the element of biophilic city. Okay. Okay, I want to recap the initiative by the Malaysian government. Okay, the top strategic planning under our ministry is about the green cities element, and we are so fortunate that our government also imposed these biophilic city elements as a part of our strategic planning. For instance, we have more green spaces, we have more trees, and also we try to motivate people to involve in green activities, and also to inspire other cities and communities. Now I become the ambassador of Malaysia to Surabaya. I'm trying to inspire you guys, the Surabaya people, the Indonesian people, to do the same. Okay. So let's see what are the biophilic cities indicator. Okay, this is by Biophilic Cities 2018. There are 4 major indicators which I will again repeat this throughout this talk. Okay, first is about engagement. Okay, as I said, engagement of people with the nature, and also the institutional and planning governance. For instance, I give you an example here in Sabah. Okay, we have this involvement of the kids with the nature. We try to promote the nature kind of activities or curriculum for the kids. Okay, this Etinia Green School in Sabah, it provides the learning program for undocumented children, for instance from the Philippines or from Indonesia, where they are stateless children. So we provide the educational learning through nature through this Etinia Green School. Yeah. Okay, let's see how many green cities that how many biophilic cities that we have in the world. Okay, basically we have 14. Yeah, the yellow color is 14. Okay, green biophilic cities, inclusive, not including another 4. Okay, these 4 are ongoing. Okay, they are still in the application process. As you can see here, Singapore, okay, our neighbor, is the only Southeast Asian country that gets this biophilic city. Why? Okay, they get it because they have started years ago, since the 2010s, when they said that 80% of their buildings, must be green. 80% of the total buildings in Singapore must be green by 2030. So in fact, they have been developing these gardens by the bay. Okay, so because of they submitted these gardens by the bay for their biophilic city applications, and they get it. Okay, so they are the first biophilic city in Southeast Asia in October 2013. However, as you can see, okay, this award that they get, the biophilic city status that they get, actually receives many critics, okay, from the green advocates. Okay, because they say that this is a reclaimed land. It's added. Okay, it's an added element as being promoted in the green and sustainable city. This is not biophilic city. Okay, so these are the people, the critics that people are talking about. Okay, however, we look at the perspective from Malaysia. Okay, we never tried to apply for the biophilic city status because obviously it's very expensive. So Singapore might be able to do it because they have money. But we want to promote the biophilic city elements in Malaysia. Okay, I just want to give a case study of Langkawi, Kedah. Okay, it's the north part of Malaysia where we have this naturally Langkawi local plan. Okay, since 2012, we got the first Southeast Asia UNESCO Global Geopark in 2007, and from here we promote the biophilic city elements. We have the outdoor activities. We also have the engagement with more outdoors, and you can see here. Okay, we have this, what do you call the cable car with the nature. We also have we encourage the locals to participate with the tourists. Okay, here the tourists and the locals. Okay, this is the locals in outdoor nature-based activities. We also have this food growing. Okay, because it's also about food. Biophilic is also about how sustainable you are in terms of food growing. Yeah. And also even the outsiders, they have access to the nature, and they have the experience to explore the local conditions of the nature in Langkawi. And also it incorporates both the design and wild into the city. For instance, they have cleaner water, cleaner air, and also it preserves native bushes area. Okay, this is one of the hotel, very expensive hotel in Langkawi. Okay, and another important thing is it promotes, okay, volunteerism, okay, amongst the people, the local, and also the people, the outsiders, to restore the ecological and conserves the nature. Okay, and the most important thing is that people have the interaction with the animal. Okay, people have the exposure to interact with the animal. Okay, so alhamdulillah, from the perspective of Malaysia, amidst the COVID-19 pandemic that hit our country adversely, okay, the fact that we are in lockdown, we have all these problems of loneliness, anxiety, fear, stress, and worry, we try to pop it. Okay, we try to pop it, inshallah. We try to settle it through the adoption of biophilic city. Okay, I've been talking about Malaysia. How about Indonesia? Let's talk about Indonesia. I still have time, right? I still have like 10 minutes, is it?
10 minutes. 10 minutes, Ibu.
Okay. Okay, so I was thinking, okay, when preparing for this, I was thinking, okay, how about Indonesia? How about Surabaya per se? Okay, so I contacted I contacted your president, that is Pak Jokowi, Joko Widodo. Okay, I asked Pak Jokowi, Jokowi, do you think that Surabaya has the call, has what it needs to become a biophilic city? And he asked me, Syuhaida, are you sure, Ibu Syuhaida? Please show me what are the evidence. What is your say on this? Okay, if you think it's good for Surabaya, let's go for it. Okay, now this is my justification. Okay, my proposal is Surabaya become the first biophilic city in Indonesia. Okay, why I come with this proposal? Because I've been involved with ITS for a long time. ITS is like my second university to me. Okay, I've been involved in Comtech Camp Insight in 2016. Okay, this is the young me when I was young, 5 years ago. Okay, now old already. Okay, where is me? Okay, this is me. This is in, if I'm not mistaken, the mayor's office, in the Surabaya City Government Hall on the 29th January, where I give talk on this the experience of Malaysia to be shared with the Surabaya government people, okay, government officials. So my justification is that you have this Surabaya Green and Clean program. Okay, I like it so much. It was initiated in 2005. Okay, so when you marry your SGC program with your Surabaya Regional Regulation number 3 in 2007, these are the best key driver behind the adoption of biophilic city by Surabaya. Okay, as you can see, I recap this back. The first one, in terms of biophilic engagement, participation, activity, and knowledge. Okay, how many people visit green space? How many people involved in nature? This is how many Surabaya people involved in nature. Okay, I took this from surya.co.id. It shows that you have this perlombaan. I believe perlombaan is like a competition, right? For green and clean, where you do have this hydroponic for the villages. And I believe that Ibu Risma is currently no more your mayor, right? He's the one of the minister in the Indonesian ministry. Okay, so through this SD Surabaya Green and Clean, you manage to create clean and healthy environment. You involve the citizens. Okay, obviously you emotionally connect the Surabaya people with the green surroundings. They are not forced to have all these trees. They are voluntarily wanting to do so. Okay, let's see the second indicator. Okay, how much you have been doing, how about the policy, how many percentage of students, your students involved in nature education or nature curricula. This one I took from one of the schools in Surabaya. They have Dunia Hutan, explore the hutan, explore the nature. Okay, this is again me when I involved in your the ITS Comtech. Okay, through this Surabaya Green and Clean, okay, program, you are not only changing your kampong or your village to become cleaner and beautiful, but you also promote your people, the Surabaya villages, to have these opportunities for economic development. Okay, so that they are sustainable in terms of providing these activities. Okay, they have these opportunities to become as a part of the nature. Okay, let's see number 3. Okay, human well-being, human health and well-being. Okay, in terms of the coverage of urban nature. Okay, see, this is what you've been doing. Okay, you managed to reduce the amount of waste from 1,500 tons to 1,100 tons. Okay, where you even have more than 180 waste banks. You know, this is being appraised by the UK Global Covenant Mayors of Climate and Energy. This is not by me, this is by the UK. See how many people look high on you, Surabaya. Okay, and even here you have the pengolahan sampah terbaik Indonesia. Even you have become the role model, Surabaya, not Indonesia. I'm not talking about Indonesia, I'm talking about Surabaya. You become the role model for Asian Pacific regions. That is something to be proud of. And number 4 is about how many projects of constructed nature that you have. Obviously, yeah, you have this, okay. Surabaya berbenah diri menjadi kota dengan sejuta pesona. Ya. Even until 2018, I believe that the numbers have been increased. You have 3,000 citizen associations, a part of your green kampong under this Surabaya Green and Clean, okay, which eventually you contributed to the constructed nature project. Okay, you have various projects, you have waste banks, you have waste management, you have smart city implementation, you have the global warming anticipations. These are all the signatory programs of Surabaya that falls under the biophilic city elements. Okay, so when Pak Jokowi, yeah, I asked Pak Jokowi, what do you think, Pak Jokowi? He said, yes, Surabaya has all the calls, has all the energy to become the first Indonesian biophilic city. Yeah. However, okay, as an engineer, because I believe most of you are most probably from urban built environment. Okay. This is where our function as engineer comes in. Yeah, when we talk about this biophilic, there is an expose of unique risk. Okay, for instance, I'd like to share this. Okay, movie. Okay, just 1 minute. Okay, bear with me. This is in Sichuan, China. They have the so-called biophilic city. Yeah. What can we see from here? The biophilia has actually swallowed the city. Okay, so it's important for the engineers to come with these creative engineering, yeah, to identify what are the risks associated with these biophilic cities. But I don't think it's a big issue for Surabaya. Okay, I don't think so. So the first Indonesian biophilic city, okay, does Surabaya has what it takes amidst COVID-19 pandemic? I believe you guys got the answer. Okay, with that, I thank you.
Thank you, Ibu Syuhaida Ismail, for such a fruitful presentation. Now, let us welcome our second speaker, Dr. Engineer Bambang Soemardiono, to deliver his presentation.
So thank you. Can you hear my voice?
Clearly, Pak Bambang.
Okay. Thank you. I would like to open my presentation. Maybe just a moment, please. Wow. Is it already in your monitor?
Yes, Pak.
Okay. So it takes maybe a little time. So okay. So thank you very much for maybe 80 participants in this lectures. Maybe this time to talks about what is landscape design in this lecture. I would like to present the the lectures about the sustainable landscape design by integrating agriculture and tourism area in Central Java, Indonesia. This is my project maybe in the late 2018 or 2017, so before pandemic era. I would like to talk about the presentation in 5 points: background, methods, result and discussion, conclusion, and references as well. So this is the area in Central Java called Kebun Greneng or Greneng Garden. So see at the presentation and you can catch how beautiful and how this location that maybe you can it is not yet familiar, but yeah. So it's already moving. It's moved.
No,
Okay.
Pak.
Not yet. Tidak
Yeah,
bergerak.
it's moving.
Sudah.
Okay. Okay, so you can see that this is the Greneng Garden at Central Java, Indonesia. This is an area that is not yet developed. This is a raw. It is like a raw location. It's, but there is also that some building that's already there, but the landscape is not yet developed. And the other, you can see the location or the conditions of the natural factors such as vegetation, and then water and climate and so on. So you can hear the voices of maybe insect here. Yeah. There is so many vegetation that grow here, like klangkang. I don't have any idea what in English, and also papaya. This is the 2 of the most well-known product for this agro-tourism. So, and then the last is about this is the klangkang. Yeah. you can see the beauty of the landscapes. You can, yeah, you can see about the vegetation and the raw location, and you can see the most important thing that danau or a kolam or surface water is one of the potential of this Greneng Garden in Central Java in Blora, Indonesia. So with these videos, I would like to say that this is far from Surabaya, maybe 500 kilometers from Surabaya. There is a location that is undeveloped, but has a huge potential to be developed. And as a landscape architect, I was very surprised that there is why there is so beautiful, so potential garden, but the government has not making some help, yeah, to make up this kind of garden. So this is the maps of the location. This is about 25 hectares, and because it belongs to the privately, it's not belongs not to the government. The owner has about the land in a separate way. So when he has money, he will buy the east area and the north area. And there is so many area that has not yet bought. And then that the Greneng agrotourism area did not develop, but has the huge potential as an agrotourism area. The wealth of plantation and natural tourism in stimulating the economy in the plantation sector. And so it is necessary to design the site to be able to more attract public interest in agro-based tourism area in a long term. This is the facts. And then, in fact, also the Greneng Garden have also already supported economic aspect in generating additional income for local farmers. So I think the local farmers that live around the area has already been supported by this by the area. And I have already met with the communities, and I think they are very supported, even not even, but because they are involved as a farmer in this area. And also the owner of the area has provides educations about plantations. So this is a little weird, yeah, because this area, this garden, owned by the private, but he asks, or he as if as a governmental project. This is, I think, why this project is very interesting. So this is so the key of the agrotourism are farmers, visitors, and also the government or institutions as well. So what I have already said, that farmer is already there, visitors are already there, but the government is not yet there. But the investor, or but the private. So the three kinds of farmers, visitors, and the government are the important things that makes it, which are the roles together with their interaction, are essentials to be a successful development of agritourism. So that condition increase the attraction to the visitor. So in its development, it needs structuring to the area to be able to attract public interest, so that it can become an agro-based tourism development with sustainable design. So that sustainable design therefore should be based on potential zoning of the land, and should integrate all of the things that will be such as agriculture, tourism, and local people as well. So I think the most important thing that in this area, or on this project, is how to integrate the agrotourism and agriculture. So if agriculture itself, without any tourism, so it is maybe it's not yet developed. But when we integrate two of the kinds of that kinds, so it will be maybe it will be good. So it is the references from Telinco et al. In 2011 that sustainable landscape architecture creates ecological designs for outdoor and urban environment. It begins with appropriate system with address function, cost, energy efficiency, beauty, and also the environment. Sustainable landscape architecture is the integration. This is, I think, I would like to highlight this word, yeah, of ecological, social, cultural, and economic factors in designing landscape to help protect habitat, contribute to stormwater management, conserve water, among other activities. And from Benson and Rue, 2007, and 2012, that sustainable landscape commonly describe landscape that support environmental quality and conservation of natural resources. A well-designed of sustainable landscape reflects a high level of self-sufficiency. One established, it should grow and mature virtually on its own as if nature had planted it. So this is kind of references that support the theory how to develop this area. So there's also there are several aspects that must be considered in developing agrotourism as well. First, negative impact on nature and also cultural should be minimized. Second, to meet the needs of local residents and provide benefits in the effort of conservation, the importance of reciprocity with government and society. So how the negative impact should be minimized, and then the needs of local residents should be emphasized, and then needs the tourism zones, and also to increase the economic benefits of the people surround the area. Such research, I would like to, in designing the integration, in designing the landscape integration of the agriculture and tourism area, I would like to use the case study through data collection and discussion with the stakeholders, and also how to communicate with the community. So this is a RIBA practice and management handbook, which divided into 4 stages of design. So this is the sequences, the logic sequences of the design, from assimilation to general study to development until to communication. So when we talk about assimilation, we talk about how to accumulate the general information and the information related to the problems. And then that will be implemented in general study. This is about investigation of the problem and investigation of possible innovative solutions. So about the innovative solutions, it is about how we can collecting all of the references and all of the informations gathering from precedents, and then from whatever, from wawancara, or maybe some observation, and then they will be in development, that be implemented in development, and also communication as well as a solution that we selected. The first thing that should be described is also how to estimate number of visitors that will come to the place based on the record of the tourist data, and then determine of the amount of capacity that can be accommodated. So when you see the location of 25 hectares, maybe the estimated number of visitors is can be estimated, yeah. But so far from the project, I see that most of the visitors not yet amount, not yet not yet calculated. So because the area owned by the private, not by the government. So they let just letting the people come around and then seeing the plantation, also maybe picking up the buah kelengking and also buah papaya, with paying about 5,000 rupiah, and they can also around the location. So the management is, I think, is a little bit too loose. Yeah? So it is very important first to calculate the estimated number of visitors and to determine the amount of capacity. And then the reviewing of special pattern that has been adjusted to the development needs, and then how to the accessibility of tourism in circulation, the location of its function, and so on. So the first thing that must be done is to make some evaluation or analysis of the contour analysis. With the you can see that here is the contours that have a quite diverse line height, dynamics, and different characteristics of special use. So we have seen that the soil condition of this type have high enough productivity, and also the plantation productivity. So from the soil type, this area is very, very, very productive. Yeah, very productive. And the existing conditions show us that here is the, the existing conditions: plantation area, recreational area, conservation area, and so on. The existing condition which is used as plantation area are filled with different types of vegetation. So, for instance, papaya and also kelengking. The area which has quite a variety of contours makes this area have different dynamics of ground elevation. So, if you have already seen the movie, you can see how beautiful, how dynamic this area. This makes this area characterized by different use of space. At the stage of communication, we would like to divide the location in 3 zones: public, semi-private, and private. Before we would like to make some study on the project, the owner of this location have told me that we didn't have any zonation here. We have no zones, so the people can have around the location, and sometimes in my room, and sometimes in my not in my room, so sometimes in our area, and so on. So the first thing that should be done is how to divide the location in 3 zones: public, semi-private, and private. And we should also make the accessibility and the location of the building that provide comfortable, such as prayer rooms, toilets, area, information centers, plaza that are central to outdoor activities. So we would like to suggest the facility that supported the visitors and also the farmers as well. So apart from the provision of building facilities, also directional and clear accessibility. This is also, as we have seen at the movie, so you cannot find any accessibility. So people can walk around without any direction. Yeah. So this is the result and discussion. We would like to divide the youth area into three different kind of zonation: public, and then public ones, the public two, and then semi-private and private. So that the people cannot, should follow the direction in the public area, not in a semi-private private area. This is, I think, the level of the area, the level of contour of area. So if you would like to see that most of the area has a steep, yeah, is steep, yeah, tajam, yeah. But the other area is in a flat area. This is, I think, the most important thing that should be done, because the owner have no idea about this kind of maps. I have already told him that you should have first the contours area. So with the contours, you can find what is buildable area, what are the unbuildable area, and you can find the most suitable area to take your or to place your facilitation. But before, it is about, the owner has instinctively to place all of the facilitation. Oh, I would like to place the plaza over there. I would like to place the office over there. So without any any theoretic, yeah. This is why this beautiful and huge potential are not yet developed, are not yet developed or good developed. So the second one, we would like to make some, how what kind of facility that should be in every zonation. So if you, I would like to next. This is the zonation and three differences of public area and also private. This is, I think, the most important thing, how to develop the circulation system regarding the elevation and regarding the contours area. So you can find, you can imagine, it is a 25 hectares and nobody can find the right circulation in this area. So you can maybe lost in this area. Yeah. So this is, I think, the one thing that should be done in the first are how to develop the circulation systems based on the elevation of the contours area. So the next is how to make this kind of circulation into the area, into the maybe into the plantation, because so many plantation there, and we should design the circulations in the existing of plantation. And also there is some land that not have been bought by the owner. This is the site plan. And then I think this is my my last picture. The landscape design of this area are basically how to sell this area with the huge potential, and also the beautiful pond, and how we can support the farmers, and then support the visitors, and also support the government, because there is some potential that have not yet developed. So if you open the Instagram, or if you happen the maybe a Facebook, or also the the YouTube channel, you can find this area not yet developed, and then maybe developed, but there's no concept in developing the area. And I think I would have already asked to the owner, would you mind giving me this area as my laboratorium? Because I have so many things to be developed in this area. And I have also make this area as a, as a research area for our department. So the conclusion are as well, the soil condition of this garden that have quite high productivity and has the potential to increase the plantation productivity. It also increase the attraction to the visitor. So it needs design in the area to be able to attract public interest, but in a manageable system, so that it can become an agro-based tourism with sustainable design. And then the sustainable landscape design, therefore, based on potential zoning of the land, and should integrate agriculture, tourism, and the local people as well. So in the determining the potential zoning system in agro-tourism area is an effort to improve the quality of tourism and develop a more integrated environment. So the integration of the two activities in the contour area, is expected to be able to increase economic potential and maintain sustainability in the region. And then the landscape design also divide the area into groupings of certain activities to facilitate the movement and mobility of tourism visitors. This is the references, and as acknowledgement, I would like to thanks to all members of Urban Design Laboratorium that have participated in this research. So I think this is my presentation, and I would like to, if I have enough time, do I have not time?
Yes, you have time, Pak Bambang.
How many time that I have left?
For about 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah. I would like to show you the condition of the area with the sound. Yeah, so the pond is one of the interesting natural factors. Yeah, and then we have also plantation here, climate also, a nice climate. Yeah, and then this is the different kind of plantation, and you can see there is no circulation, there is no zonation. Yeah, so this is the owner has also just instinctively developed this instinctively. This is the plantation also. I do have many kinds of movie, but I pick up just 3 different kind of movie. So I think this is it. Yeah, thank you very much for your attentions, and I'm looking forward for your questions, or maybe some opinion about this projects, as a lectures to SDG. Just thank you very much.
Thank you
for the occasion and for the attention.
Thank you, Pak Bambang, for your interesting presentation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the question and answer session. I have already some questions here in the chat box. The first one is coming from Ika Oktavianawati from Institut Teknologi 10 November. This is dedicated for Bu Syuhaida. I will read it for you. Thank you, Bu Syuhaida, for interesting talk. from your talk just for now, I feel so grateful for being live in a small town with nature around. Of course, it's far away from Surabaya. Yeah, at least it's relatively similar to green and biophilic city. I just have one question. Could you tell us how is the condition of the city in China that you have showed in video before? It is still be a biophilic city or has been changed? Or maybe you can show any other place in the world with biophilic system that has been applied at least for 5 years. It will be better for more than if the information is available. So we can have a great example of biophilic city to learn because it can also be a sustainable city that could maintain the green condition in their daily lives for a long time. Thank you so much. All the best for you, Bu Syuhaida. Would you answer this question, Bu Syuhaida?
Yeah, thank you, Miss Ika. Yeah, Miss Ika. Yeah. From which part of Indonesia are you from?
I'm still in East Java, in Jember. It takes 4 hours from Surabaya.
Oh, okay. So meaning Kuala Lumpur is closer to Surabaya then. Okay. Okay. Thank you for the question. Okay. What happened in Sichuan is actually it becomes the currently abandoned biophilia projects, okay, because that apartments were bought by high-end people in China, and they bought that for a part of their investment, okay, so that's why they can afford just to leave their buildings being swallowed by the trees, okay. And in terms of what are the other cities, and you asked me about examples, ITS, maybe you need to invite me once again, yeah. I can give other examples of biophilic cities across the globe, okay. Just to give you very I would say classic example is Japan. Okay, but if you refer back, can I share my slide again? Is it possible? Okay, if you look at the 18 countries that have got the title of biophilia, you can see my slides, right? Every one of you.
Yes.
As you can see here, there is no Japan. Okay, there is no Japan, even though Japan is the one who mooted the idea of forest bathing, but there is no Japan. Okay, why is it so? Because Japan, they have set their very high standards of biophilia or green or sustainable. Even if you look for the list of green cities or sustainable city or even resilient city, Japan is not a part of the list, okay? Because to them, what contributes to their people is more important than what people from around the world look at them. Okay, now we get, do I have any Singaporeans here? Okay, you know, like Singapore, they go about with the biophilic city status. But again, they receive criticism. That is not biophilic. Biophilic is not something that you create. Biophilic is something that you voluntarily do it. Like Surabaya, you volunteer, the villagers, the orang kampung volunteers to tanam pokok, to have all this waste management within your kampung institution. Not like the one in Singapore. They develop that area for the purpose of tourism. They act. Okay, so those are the things that we can have deeper discussion, Ibu Ika. Okay, I hope to get another invitation, yeah, from ITS. Okay, that's all. I hope I answer your question.
Thank you, Bu Syuhaida. All the best for you.
Thank you. So now let us move on to other question. Before we go on to Ibu Syuhaida, I will go on to Pak Bambang.
Yeah.
There is a question: in what ways self-sufficiency could support sustainable landscape design, and how we could minimize the effect of agglomeration in economical effect? Over to you.
Would you mind one more time?
Yes.
Yeah.
The question is, in what way self-sufficiency that you have noted in the presentation before would support sustainable landscape design? And the second one, how we could minimize the effect of agglomeration in economical effect.
Okay, I have already here right that a well-designed sustainable reflects a high level of self-sufficiency. So once established, it should grow and mature. So we should need establishment of self-sufficiency with this kind of, we should make this, make the aspects of sustainable in uh, in a appropriate way, I think it's there's some economical, ecological, and also social. So when we design with this kind of all aspects, yeah, so we have a high level of self-sufficiency, and we can do an established development. So for instance, in this kind of the problem, the owner has also establish establish a location, yeah, or establish maybe establish ecological function, but not yet established local function or social function or social and also economical function. So I think at the first time I look at the unprofessional management of this area. So they don't have any sufficiency. If the people own, if the owner makes some, what is setara in English here? Equal, yeah? Equal development of this kind of aspect, so they can have a self-sufficiency. This is what I mean with the kind of sufficiency. Is it okay?
Yes, yes, Pak Bambang.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Pak Bambang. Let us move on to the second question for Ibu Syuhaida from Zuhrotul Mawadatil Ula from ITS, from the Department of Architecture, ITS, I would like to ask a question to Ibu Syuhaida. First, thank you very much for the fruitful and engaging presentation. I recall from your presentation about the biophilic approach, if I may conclude one thing, that is that this approach is not merely about the physical or architectural elements or built environment, but also the lifestyle of the people, since it involves or requires them to actively engage with the environment by doing some activities, such those you mentioned in your presentation. And also, since it applies the principle of affordance, I think, of course, there is a role from how the people perceive their environment. Now, that's the question, Bu Syuhaida. My question is, how much do you think the built environment can actually affect the perception of the people towards their environment in this issue? Because I think that the awareness of the people about the importance of their well-being is also important. And at some cases, the people hasn't aware about the better quality of life that they could have achieved by implementing this biophilic approach. And I recall that you mentioned about creative engineering. Would you mind to elaborate or maybe give an example about the creative engineering that could maybe contribute to solve the issue? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for the question by Ibu Ula, yeah? Is it?
Yes,
Which
yes,
I mentioned. Okay, because you guys got so many long names. Like me, Malaysian, usually Syuhaida, so easy. Okay, Ibu Ula. Okay, you have indeed many questions. Okay, so I would just like to respond to the creative engineering. Okay, so basically, creative engineering is not from the perspective you understand just now. Okay, I'd like to recap. Creative engineering is a part of remedy Okay, remedy not to solve the problems of people are not aware on the importance or the competitive advantages provided by biophilic. No, it's not the case. Okay, creative engineering is when you adopt this biophilic engineering, biophilic cities, but you are too overwhelmed and the people cannot care less, like the Sichuan people. They couldn't care less, they just ignore, they just involved in the kickstart of the biophilic city establishment. Okay, they just plant the trees, they have all these markets, but they just leave it the way it is. They don't look after the programs, look after their association. They don't just involved in the earlier part. Okay, so this is where the creative engineering should comes in, should try to tackle, for instance, how the trees swallowed. Okay, like in Kuala Lumpur we do have, okay, like in our streets in Kuala Lumpur we have so many big trees. I'm not sure what do you call this tree in bahasa in English. It's kenanga tree. It's very huge, you know, like 10 years it will be like one whole box of size. So what happened was, being a country with a lot of rains every day, okay, these trees are actually become the one of the hazardous element to our road users. So this is where the creative engineering comes in. Okay, from the public works department, they have to not really cut the trees, because that trees are considered as a part of our green elements for the city. So it's probably trimming the cities, do some blockages around. Okay, those are my answer on the creative engineering. Okay, in terms of promoting the biophilic cities, in fact, many, even Singaporeans, even though Singapore, if you look into literature review, even though Singapore is the first country getting the biophilic city status in 2013, surprisingly, many of Singaporeans, they haven't heard about biophilic. Biophilic is, in fact, alien to many. Okay, alien, in fact, to Malaysians. So I am among the advocates who tries to, promote biophilia, because biophilia is basically free to implement. We don't need money to implement. We can just get trees and, plant trees inside our house. We don't have to buy green plants, the low energy bulbs and whatnot. No. So how to do it? I'd like to go back to the question given to Prof. Bambang just now on how to promote the self-efficiency, right? Self-sufficiency. Okay, self-sufficiency. To me, if you give a man a fish, okay, he will eat for a day or 2 days, probably. But when you teach a man how to catch the fish, okay, he will eat for a lifetime. The same goes to the concept being introduced by Prof. Bambang and also biophilic. Once they see the benefits of self-sufficiency that is also promoted through biophilic city, especially amidst the COVID-19 where everyone is stressful. If they see, even in a tiny house of an apartment, they would be able to see the impact, okay, of adopting the biophilic city. It's what you do, not what you preach. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ibu Syuhaida. Now, before I turn to the chat box, I would like to invite questions from the participants who is given the opportunity to ask the speaker directly by clicking raise hand feature. All participants, please clicking raise hand feature. Ask Pak Bambang and Bu Syuhaida directly.
You can ask in Bahasa Indonesia, because I've been staying in Surabaya for 14 days. I know how to speak Surabaya a little bit.
Oh, good. That's good, Bu Syuhaida. So what program at that time?
It's Comtech number 6. I think.
Yes, we are familiar with that. Yes, it's a very good time in Surabaya, isn't it?
Yeah, very indeed.
Right. So participants, I would like to give the opportunity to all of you to directly ask Pak Bambang and Bu Syuhaida for this
Yeah,
interest.
they can ask in bahasa is also acceptable.
Yes.
Tapi jangan bahasa Jawa ya Pak, saya nggak paham.
No, sure in Indonesia, in bahasa Indonesia.
Okay, I see some familiar faces here. Gabriela, would you ask Pak Bambang or Bu Syuhaida for this question, please?
Bahasa Indonesia aja ya Bu ya.
Ya, silakan.
Terima kasih atas kesempatannya. Tadi sangat menyenangkan sekali dapat mengikuti kuliah kamu ini. Mungkin untuk Ibu Syuhaida, semester lalu saya sudah pernah mengikuti kelas tentang biofilik dan sebenarnya saya itu agak berdosa saya ngaku ya. Setelah lulus dari kelas itu, saya tuh merasa ternyata kelasnya tidak berbeda dengan teori-teori arsitektur yang biasanya seperti yang mengedepankan sunlight apa. Nah, sebenarnya itu yang membedakan katanya itu kan biofilik itu mengedepankan perasaan yang mengkonsiderasi perasaan penggunanya. Nah, sebenarnya yang membedakan biofilik itu dapat what is the English word? The English mencutik itu bahasa Indonesianya apa ya, Bu? Menggugah perasaan seseorang melalui biofilik itu bagaimana ya, Bu?
Menggugah itu apa ya?
Maybe
Trigger, ya.
Trigger
something.
Yes.
Sorry?
Trigger.
Okay, to trigger apa tadi soalannya? Sorry, to trigger what?
People's feeling, the occupants feeling in that building.
Oh yeah, if you know the benefits, okay, if you know the benefits of implementing or adopting, okay? Jika kamu tahu apa kebaikannya, saya cakap Indonesia ya, ngomong Indonesia, kebaikannya adopt itu biofilik, you will see it. Okay, saya bagi example ya, example. This is nothing to do with biofilik, but saya cuma mau bagi metafora ya, bahasa Inggeris. Okay, the metaphor. When we first, okay, why Malaysia is quite late in terms of giving the COVID vaccine, the COVID-19 vaccine compared to Indonesia. You are much earlier in January, ours in February. Why is it so? Because we have this so-called group called anti-vaccine group. Okay, why anti-vaccine? Because they said that, okay, this is from, it's non-halal, it's not proven, you might get sick after you get vaccination. And for instance, AstraZeneca, when you take the AstraZeneca vaccine, you will get blood clot and you can also cause death. Okay, however, the third cycle, okay, the first cycle is before Ramadan, sebelum puasa, okay. The second cycle is during Ramadan. Not many wanted to join, okay. However, during Ramadan, suddenly we have upsurge, ya, naik ya, bilangan COVID-19 positif di Malaysia naik. Jadi waktu itu orang mula takut, okay. Jadi manusia ini, it is based on experiential rather than knowing. Dia kena melaluinya baru dia tahu. Okay, jadi after on the third cycle that was just last week, okay, dalam masa 30 minit 1 juta vaksin habis. Kenapa? All of these people, they know, wow, now the COVID-19 is becoming so crazy, it's attacking people, you know, it's non-stop. So now they know the effect. The same goes to biophilic. They just know biophilia through classes. Ya, bak kata Emily tadi, you rasa berdosa ya. Masuk tapi enggak amalkan. Okay, cuba kamu amalkan. Try to practice and you will see. You will see the impact to yourself. Okay, probably. Okay, cortisol. I'm talking about cortisol, the cortisol hormones. Yeah, Emily. Okay, we are not going, we don't know how to measure it. Okay, mathematically. Okay, this cortisol measure, these cortical hormones, if you were to adopt biophilic, but you can see the impact. Okay, gradually. Cuba ya Emily, cuba. Pasti boleh.
Thank you for the answer, Miss.
That is a powerful word, Gabby. Pak Bambang, there is a
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
In that design, in your case studies, it's a large scale effort. What
Yeah.
kind of the most difficult things in that large scale effort, Pak Bambang?
The most difficult things, the most difficult efforts, yeah. So you can find there is a, you know, the area, the 25 hectares area are very in different kind of height. So if you look at the area, you should you know, walk around in the area, and you did not find any circulation. So this is hard. So I would like to ask the owner first that you must have some, you know, peta berkontur. Anda harus punya peta berkontur dulu supaya Anda bisa mengetahui. So you can find the most the most suitable land for its function. But because you know the owner has just you know, instinctively feeling, oh saya kira itu bagus di sana, ini bagus di sini. Any considerations based on the maps? This is a little bit weird ya, agak aneh karena this is a huge area and the government have no you know, have not yet enough attentions of this kind of potential things. So I think the large effort are how to make make the maps of the area, the making the appropriate maps of the area where we can find the different kind of height on different kind of level, and we can do the best things, the suitable things on the right position. This is, I think, the in every site there is there is an ideal use in every ideal site. So we should respect first at the site, and then we found what kind of the appropriate facility on this site. This is my great efforts, I think. But the owner yang punya nggak punya perhatian, pokoknya saya ingin di sana tanpa punya maps-nya, tanpa punya petanya. This is, I think, is a little bit weird ya, aneh sekali. Dia mengandalkan feeling saja. Saya ingin di sini, saya ingin di sana, begitu kira-kira. Bu Novida, thank you for the question.
Thank you, Pak Bambang.
Yeah.
So the same question for Bu Syuhaida. Achieving a successful biophilic city is also a large-scale effort. In Malaysia, who are the stakeholders and parties involved that are particularly important?
I would like to answer the question, relate back to Emily. Emily's question. Okay, it started with yourself. It started with one body. I mean yourself. I do it at my part. Emily did it for her part. Ibu Enda do it for your part. So sikit-sikit lama-lama jadi bukit ya. Ya, sikit-sikit lama-lama it becomes practice.
Right.
Okay, yeah, just start as simple as, you know, tanam pokok kecil. Okay, atau just walk around the house. Okay, sekarang kami lockdown. Have you ever been in lockdown Indonesia? I'm not sure. Ada lockdown tak di Indonesia?
Semi lockdown.
Semi lockdown. Kami total lockdown. Jadi di luar itu kosong. Okay. Jadi kami nggak bisa keluar rumah. Bisa keluar rumah tapi within our compound. So those who are having compounds like, terrace house, bungalow house, you have the luxury to walk around. Okay, but for those who are staying in, like apartments, you cannot go out from your house. So you can just probably open the door or open the windows and look upon the trees and the birds. But those are the things actually reduce the level of cortisol in your body. Okay, so it starts from you guys. It starts from you. Okay.
It's a very interesting answer, Bu Syuhaida. It will also trigger our students to do its parts. Bambang and Bu Syuhaida, before we close this presentation and discussion, would you both of you give us one or two essential things that we should learn from these case studies? Bu Syuhaida, please.
I think biophilic cities are not new to Surabaya. It's not new. It might be new to Singapore, it might be new to Malaysia, but it's not new to Surabaya. Because you have started since like the mayor, right? What's the name? Ibu Risma, yeah? Ibu Risma, when she was the mayor.
Major.
You have started it long, the mayor. You have started it long ago. It's just that you don't know the term biophilia. You have been doing it, but you don't know, oh, this is biophilia. So to me, just follow your own path now, just improvise. It can be done, as I said, at individual level. Okay, probably at the institutional level, you maybe can start doing research on biophilia, because biophilia is currently a trend, or I would say a sexy topic in index journal. Especially in index journal, if you want to go about with Web of Science or Scopus, this is a very apt time, especially when you marry the biophilia with COVID-19. Okay, so maybe we can collaborate between UTM and ITS in coming out with research related to biophilia. We can make Surabaya as a case study.
Sure do, inshallah, Bu Syuhaida.
So good luck in your biophilia journey, everyone.
Okay.
That's all from me.
Thank you. Okay, Pak Bambang.
Yeah, thank you, Bu Nufida. I think the most important thing, or maybe how to make a long story short, that integration means also collaboration. Integration means also innovation. So that when we would like to make some innovation, you should integrate, you should collaborate, and don't forget to collaborate with the stakeholders, because stakeholders are the essential thing in sustainable development. So the farmers, the visitors, and the government as well as the three components that makes this kind of landscape design integrated and innovated and also collaborated. I think this is the point that I would like to say.
Okay, thank you, Pak Bambang. So, participants, ladies and gentlemen, we finally come to the end of this guest lecture series on SDGs. I would like to take the conclusion from what the speakers has presented. Professor Syuhaida Ismail pointed out the importance of family institution in enhancing the sustainable cities and communities values in SDGs. In this way, biophilic city advocate the core existence of human with advancing well-being in connectivity with nature elements in life. It is our belief that every city is biophilic to some degree and has the potential to become a more biophilic city. And that realizing that potential will require intentional changes in some municipal and urban planning, and also in ourselves, is to produce richer and more vibrant nature-filled cities of the 21st century, especially in urgency of pandemic we have faced today. The biophilic cities is dedicated to improving the connection between residents and urban nature. Evolving the closeness to the nature in our daily life is good to our well-being as well. And from Dr. Soemardiono, the Sustainable Landscape Design by Integrating Agriculture and Tourism in Central Java, Indonesia, give us the understanding in what way agriculture and tourism could interrelate in a good design. A very good design in term could support economic aspects by design agritourism as a sustainable landscape design. So I'd like to thank Bu Syuhaida Ismail and Pak Bambang Soemardiono for the informative, fruitful, and interesting presentation, and all the participants for the very active participant. Finally, give the applause for the speaker and for all of you. Thank you. Over to you, Ibu Aulia, as our master of ceremony today. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, Bu Nufi.
Thank you so much, Ms. Nufida, for bringing this very interesting session. And thank you so much for Associate Professor Syuhaida Ismail and also Dr. Bambang Soemardiono for the excellent lecture today. So please give applause to our speaker and moderator by using the Zoom reaction feature. Okay, thank you everyone. Furthermore, we would like to present a certificate awarding to both of our speakers and also our moderator today. The first certificate is presented for Associate Professor Syuhaida Ismail. Okay, and then the second certificate will presented for Dr. Bambang Soemardiono.
Saya habis ini ikut Pak. Saya habis ini ikut masih awarding.
And the last certificate will presented for Ms. Nufida. Nufida from the ability in today's guest lecture series. Okay, before we close our agenda today, we invite and moderator to take a group photo. So for all the participants, please open up your camera. Okay. Okay, we will wait once again. Okay, so everyone is ready. I will check the photo. 1, 2, 3. And then for the second slide, 1, 2, 3. And the third slide, 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. So we have finished the group photo back from through the link bit.ly/feedback GLS that you can the feedback form is 1 hour after we finish the session. We want to remind you the participants who will get the stamp for it is the participants who come on time, join this event until the end, and also fill the feedback form. Finally, we have reached the end of today's guest lecture series, and we sincerely apologize for any mistakes we might have in presenting as Master of Ceremony and Committee. Thank you very much to our honorable speakers, moderator, and all participants for the attention and the cooperation. We will have one session on Tuesday with the GLS topic 11, and we will also have 2 parallel sessions of GLS on Wednesday with also the topic of GLS 11. Okay, we will have that session, and We will wait for you to went to the next GLS SDGs. We sincerely apologize for any mistakes. Thank you so much. Good afternoon. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much for Professor Syuhaida and also Bu Nurenda and also Pak Bambang.
You're welcome, Bu Vivi.
And I would like to end this session, or maybe from Dr. Irfan, could you maybe have this closing remark maybe for these study sessions?
Untuk apa untuk
Okay, thank you so much for the participant and the
ya, saya kira itu Pak.
Allow me to end this session at 3, 2, 1, and see you. Have a great day. Thank you, everyone. Thank you also the committee.